Hi, I'm Kamakshay. In this video, I'm going to talk about a particular software application called SACOPOA. This is useful to perform some COPO attainment calculations. There is a detailed description here in this page. You just have to go to this URL. There are even examples explaining how COPO attainments are calculated with hypothetical values. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to set up this application. This can be installed in any Windows operating system, but you need to install only in admin mode. So because this needs access to some certain libraries related to Python, so you don't need to install Python, but in your setup folder, Python related libraries are going to be installed, and to have access to those libraries, it needs admin privileges. So how to set up this file? You have the executable file here, and you just have to press, then click on this view raw. Your download starts, and save as. I'm going to a particular location, and now see, this is a kind of error message that appears because it is not it lacks certificates, security certificates. So what you need to do is, you don't need to be panicked. It is just an authenticated Python, full-fledged Python application. You click on these three dots, click on keep. Now click on this downward arrow and keep anyway. That's it. This is a small task that you need to perform in order to set up this. Then go to the folder, and here this is what is this one. Now when you double click, the operating system automatically asks for admin privileges. You just have to press yes, and then your setup starts. Accept the agreement. By the way, read the agreement. That's important. There is a disclaimer here. Next, create desktop shortcut. I choose this, and if you don't want, just skip this option. Now it just installs. That's all. You don't need to do anything there. So this is not that difficult. It's straightforward installation. Anybody who ever have a very basic idea about it, then launch straight away. The application will be launched. And this is how it installs. So this is an application. So as I said, in this video I'm going to talk about setup and implementation. I'm not going to talk about interpretations. So what I mean, I'm just going to confine my description because I'm concerned about the length of the video. Now there are three menus here, and there are two menus on the main window. If you press exit, the application gets terminated and will disappear. So so by the way, so how should be your input data file? So we have to input the marks. Marks in India we call marks, and in other countries it may be scores or maybe grades or whatever it is. It is some kind of. So if you are watching this video, I assume that you know what do I mean COPO. CO stands for course outcomes, and PO stands for program outcomes. And these outcomes are calculated based on students' performance, and performance is evaluated against certain assessments, like assessment 1, assessment. I'll open up my sample file and try to. So I have an Excel file here, and by the way, it needs Excel file. You have to organize all your marks. See here, I have 4 different assessments, and A1 stands for something, and it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe in my context, it is project assignment, mid-exam, or A4 end exam, something like that. You can have a number of assessments, it doesn't matter, the application has no problem to calculate COPOs for any number of assessments. But this is how the format should be. It should have roll number, name, and then A1, A2, A3, A4, something like this. You can even simulate datasets, and then in second sheet, you need to have the COPO matrix. See, in this scenario, I have 5 COs and 5 different POs with PSOs, program specific objectives. So all of them are not necessarily to be filled. See, I have COs mapped to PO1, PO3, PO4, 5, PSO1, PSO3, I think. So this one. So a few POs are missing. So it need not necessarily be mapped with all POs. Third sheet should be the assessment by the COs. Say here in this context, CO1, CO2 are assessed by A1 and CO3, CO4 are assessed by A2, something like that. So wherever there is a map and a connection, there we need to put 1, which means this assessment is linked to this CO. CO1 is linked to A1. See, there is another 1 here, which means CO2 is linked to A1, something like that. So rest they can be blank. So the application will figure out how to take care of the missing values. So these are the 3 essential sheets in your Excel file. In first sheet you are going to have student marks in a given format. This name should be very particular. Okay, this name should be very particular. I'll see that this sample files will be available from the project directory. As of now they are not there. See here in project directory, I'll try to keep a few files so that you may feel comfortable. You can just download and fill your. And the second sheet you are going to have COPO matrix. These are the expected in values for a given scale. So here the scale ranged from 1 to 3. Okay, 1 stands for very low and 3 stands for very high, something like that. And third sheet, the COA1, assessment wise CO mapping for assessment, something like this. So these 3 sheets are essential. So now what we need to do is, so go back to the, see here, you can press this one or another one, doesn't matter. And I have another file, I forgot to talk to you. This is so this one, let's open and see. I have different assessments here. I have more than 4 assessments in this. So if you look at here A1 to A7, there are 7 assessments here. If you look at this is say COPO matrix, and but sheet 3 you need to have all 7 assessments organized against respective COs. So these are all wherever you have one, which means that particular CO is mapped to that assessment. So something like this. Okay. Now let me go back to the app. So you can just either choose import marks at the file menu or maybe in the main window. Doesn't matter whatever it is. I am going to click this button. Sorry. File import marks. So this is what I was talking, this file. Now the application automatically calculates it will show you the student marks and CO attainment. You see here assessment wise, CO1 is mapped to A1, A2, and here CO1 attainment is 65.63%. CO2 attainment is 65. That's fair, not so bad. CO3 attainment is more than CO1 and 2, which means if CO1, CO2 are mapped to mid marks, and CO3, CO4 are mapped to project. So student performance in project is much more compared to the mid exam marks. And final examination, not so bad, but less than the project performance. So here in this context, if we assume that CO3, CO4 are connected to project and CO1, CO2 are connected to mid-exam and CO5, I think project assessment went well. I can't say like that, but it is just a kind of, to me, it looks like project. The student performance in project is overwhelming compared to the rest of the. And now there are program, actually, I don't know, sometimes it is not possible to. This is a PO wise, the program objective 1. I don't know what is that objective, but it is, what is the highest, I think PO4 attainment is higher compared to the rest of the objectives. You need to go back and look into your objectives. I don't have the list of objectives and zeros because, as I said, I am not going to interpret the context, but my focus is on implementation of the application. Now this is more relevant for so this is input matrix. So these are expected scores, and this is the actual the performance of the students. Here CO1 PO1 has 3, but the attainment is only 2, level 2, something like that. But overall, I cannot say because overall is not there yet, but that's good. I think see here PO3 for CO2, CO3, CO4, each of them are 1, whereas here for PO3 they are 3. So there it went well. So something like that. These are the percentages. I don't know. Maybe my interpretation may not be correct, but you just have to stick to the context and follow your knowledge. So there are certain buttons here provided. You can just download in 3 different formats: Excel, Word, and PDF. I am going to show you. So this is the main report, right? So I'm going to write main and the Word. So I'll main and then PDF. Remember where your it is. COPO here it is going here in this path. So this is the path. COPO app, CO app, reports made, something like that. Go back. COPO apps, COPO app reports. So here you have a main. Let me open a Word file. So these files are might be important for you to look into your performance of the course, and then maybe for presentation or etc. I don't know, whatever. And the PDF file format will be like this. So you have all the sections in your in percentages, in scale. So all the sections in your main window will be available. But in Excel file there will be different sheets. Your input data as well as calculations. See, student marks, your input data. COPO your input matrix. This is also your input. From here it starts calculate. This is COPO Attainment. As I have said, the project performance is better compared to the mid-exam and final exam. And this is COPO Attainment. I said PO4 is going well. And PO5 is also, each of PO5, PSO1 also equally likely or something like that. I don't know, kind of. And this is attainment matrix, the actuals, and this is the expected. And then you have percentages in terms of the performance in terms of percentage. And then you got overall summary here. So number of students and a mean, median, something like that, and metadata, doesn't matter. It is not important for you. And then there are other menus here which I would like to analysis. So here the slow learner identification is being implemented under this menu, identify learner category, something like that. So I'm going to give a threshold of 50. You can give 60 or 40, whatever it is. So these are the 2 categories which I would like to have. Good and needs support. You can write something else here, doesn't matter, slow, fast, or whatever it is. So when you press apply, you will get this slow learner categories window, where you all again have all this. If you press Excel, you can download Excel slow learner single category. Excel. I want to change this one. I don't like this. Where it was. Yeah. So it is. So let us go back and see the report. If I go to the reports, I have my file here. So what are the ingredients in the file? Let us look into it. And yeah, so there are. You can just filter them and see who are the students that need support and who are the students that are good. Okay. So how many students fall under this category? How many students fall under another category? By the way, you also have this summary. The need support 16%, 25% of the class students in the class need support, but 75% are good. So that looks promising. To me, I don't know. To you, it might be different. Okay, now The window is already open. You can also save in other formats. Now let me go to multi-criteria. So identify learner categories, and this time you have to select this multiple threshold. I will give some, three. I give 40, 60, 75. These are the cutoff marks for me to identify the slow learners. I need to give the categories. I say below, average, average. For timing, doesn't matter. You can choose your criteria. Below, average, and excellent. By the way, here there is a hint. You can just follow blindly. Okay, doesn't matter. Now we got something like this, and if you go to the, if you download, you will have the summary. It is a slow learner, multi, and now go back to the file. Sorry, the Excel. So let's look into the summaries. So we have 15 each, 15, 15, 15.6. Below average, average, above average. Excellent 53. That's great. Promising. Now there are other menus in the application. They may not be that important for everybody, everyone. Maybe descriptors, you can just make the summary statistics. This is overall mark, total marks, not for the categories. You can also make the plots. Okay, if you, for instance, if you go for pie chart for single threshold type, you can create a pie chart like this. This is just an additional information which you can go for a histogram for single. I choose to create histogram. You have two different categories embossed with a normal curve overlapping, superimposed normal curve, something like this. This is only for, this is a basic app. In basic app you don't have download facility. There is something called comparative analysis. This is very interesting. So I have three different scenarios. In the first scenario, I call it as conservative. 46. This is the cutoff marks for categories. These are the names for the categories. And in second scenario, I call it as moderate. And these are the, you can play around the values. Okay, you can just change 55. You can change it to 50, something like that. Now, when you press create analysis, you see you will have a beautiful dashboard. See, for conservative, you have strict test the category 15.6% of the class. Most lenient category you have 53. That's really not a promising thing. In moderate you have 54. I mean everything is most lenient. So it appears that the instructor had might be lenient while assessing this course. This really helps decision makers to identify whether the assessment went in a conservative, the strict way or the lenient way, something like that. Okay, so this is all about this app. Hope this might be useful for a few academics who are struggling to make COPO calculations. Okay, stay tuned for new content. Maybe in my next video I can come up with one more app. Bye bye for now. Bye bye for now.